Hey, what's up everybody? 3D Theory here. Today is May 26, 2025 at 5:23 p.m. and this is vlog number 79. Today we're just going to be talking about some of the stuff that's been going on in the tiny 3D print farm of 5 Bambu Lab A1 3D printers, which funny enough includes the return of the Creality CR6 Max. I had to print out some big prints for a project I was working on, and this would not fit on the A1s, as you can tell. So I had to bust out the old Creality CR6 Max. I got it back from where it was at and was able to finish up the project. So I'm very thankful for that. But as you can tell, the tiny 3D print farm is in a little bit of a mess. And I don't know if you guys remember, but talking about these plates and latches, I thought I was going to be finished up with them, but apparently not. So I'm actually on my 28th print right here. And for those of you who are new to the tiny 3D print farm, I print these plates and latches out for a larger product that I don't really talk about, but they attach to a larger product, and these are just a couple of the pieces of the entire thing. And I've been doing this for quite some time. If you guys go back and check out some of the vlogs that I used to do, it all started when I started to produce these in this tiny 3D print farm. And not only do I have these were just kind of like the tail end of it all. I also got a bunch in the office back here, so I got to put these together sometime soon and prep them for assembling onto the bigger product. We got a fun little video lined up today. UJOYBIO had sent us a couple of rolls of filament a while back, and I haven't had a chance to crack them open and do some tests on them, and I can't wait to do that. We're gonna do that in this video today. We're gonna have a fun print that we print out using the UJOYBIO filament, especially the Hyper PLA over here. It's really strong, as you saw in one of our previous videos, where we bent the filament that was shaped like a capital L, and we compared them, and we were able to bend it pretty far back until it broke, but it was actually bent pretty far back before it did. So we're gonna do some sort of test like that again today, include a fun little print with it. But before we get into all that, we gotta do a whole bunch of cleaning. Oh, and what do you know, we got some more of those plates and latches here. Oh yeah, I forgot, that was from the AMS Bambu Lab A1 over here. But we're gonna go ahead and clean up, because when I'm in print farm mode, I just go to town and I don't really pay attention to keeping it clean over here. And one thing that's bothering me, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but this fan again is acting up. It's kind of just buzzing. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I think there's something up with that fan. Once this print is done, I'm gonna have to give that a look. But something cool buried back here is, let me move this out of the way, is a Bambu Lab A1 Mini. So I decided to get one because on my Makerworld, which if you guys are interested in any of my models I got on Makerworld, by the way, these are the models that I have on there. Some pretty cool fun stuff. Feel free to check it out, it's all free. But a lot of the models that I have on there generated enough points for me to be able to get gift cards. And this thing probably cost me 80 bucks out of pocket after all the gift cards were applied to it. And I've had it for quite some time. I just haven't had a lot of time to work on 3D print related stuff, like the fun stuff and developing products. And I have a reason for that. Besides doing the 3D prints for the print farm of the plates and latches, I've been attending a local community college, taking an engineering course, some more SolidWorks courses, and a technical drawing course, just to get well versed in it. Since I'm coming out from the film industry, I used to be a 3D modeler for the film industry for 7 years, and I really liked making physical products using 3D modeling. So jumping out of Maya into SolidWorks was a fun process. I ended up getting my CSWA, which is SolidWorks certification. And I think there's one above it called CSWP, if I'm not mistaken, which is the professional certification, but I got the associate certification directly from SolidWorks, so I'm really happy about that. And now that that's finished up, I do want to get this 3D print farm cleaned up and underway. For those of you that are familiar with what I sell on Etsy, I sell these traditional animation desk pen cups, and I have a funny little story about what happened with these. They're selling actually okay on Etsy as my only product that's up currently. And funny enough, one week I got such a high bill from Etsy ads, I decided to just shut the Etsy ads off completely. And I thought that sales would drop entirely. But within about a week, I got 11 sales. Well, actually about 2 weeks. Within about 2 weeks, I got about 11 sales. And one of them was a 2-pack. Someone bought 2 at a time. So I finished fulfilling all those orders, and I'm super thankful. If you guys are watching on YouTube and were the ones who purchased it from watching my YouTube videos. Thank you so much. That really boosted my motivation to keep these things going. And I do have another product that I took off, and I'll explain why. I have a tiny version here of the traditional animation desk pen cup, and it has a little loop over here that, as you can tell, broke off, and it's a keychain. Someone had recommended not to print up, standing up vertically like this, because the little loop would break off really easily. And I tried so many ways. I threw it on the floor, I bent it, nothing happened. But after I received that comment, which I'm very thankful for, I came back here and I just wanted to give it a try, and when I focused all of my force on it, it broke real easily. So I took this off, and I'm going to do some tests where I print it on its back, which will ensure that that loop is stronger. Now here's all the 3D prints I did. I was so confident in Bambu's printers and all that, and I still am, they're very good printers, that I didn't realize that the nozzle can come a little loose. And I was having a little bit of an issue with prints that were sticking to the bed because they were printed too closely to the bed. So what was happening was the nozzle of the printer, the little screws on there had gotten a little loose, which was making the auto calibration a little bit off. So it was giving me a little bit of an issue. So once I figured that out, it was fixed, but still I need to get this loop situation resolved because, as you can tell, it comes right off with very little force. So because of that, these are probably going to have to get trashed, unfortunately. But I did print out all the other parts. Here are the little drawers for the animation desk, and the little animation discs, and the little plexiglass, along with all the shelving units. But I think most of this is going to have to be trashed, unfortunately, or maybe I can just give them to gifts to people, and we're gonna have to do this all over again. But until I fix that, I took these off the Etsy shop. But I do have one more product planned in the future, but I think that's gonna come way in the future. With all that being said, I got all this trash I need to clean up. What I do is I just grab the spools, put them back in their little bags over here, just like that, and I just throw them back in their boxes, and this really saves a lot of space in the trash bin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do all that for these here and get this trash taken care of. And as you can tell, the floor is a little bit of a mess. I'm gonna clean that up. And once everything's nice and organized in here, we'll get the UJOYBIO Filament underway. But I don't wanna bore you with all this stuff, so I'm gonna clean this up and then we'll get started. All right, guys, now as you can tell, we got this place back in order. The Creality CR6 Max is gone and everything is looking clean. Now we can get to the UJOYBIO filaments. All right, guys, I just want to thank UJOYBIO for sending over this PLA filament. We got Hyper PLA in olive green, and we also have metallic PLA in titanium gray. So I'm really excited to try these out. Let's pop them open. Comes with a silica gel packet per the usual, and that is looking really nice. I like the color gray that is. And just to give you something to compare it to, this is the metallic PLA in silver gray we got from them last time. So there's the difference. You can tell one is a bit brighter while the other one has that cool darker gray look. All right, guys, and let's pop open the olive green Hyper PLA. And I must say, this Hyper PLA stuff is actually really strong PLA. When I tested it out, after having printed out those capital L test prints, you really get an idea of how strong this stuff really is. That color green is looking really nice. It's vibrant and not too dark. Because I was thinking olive green would be like a really dark green, but no, this looks really nice. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get the print I wanted to print out with this stuff from the computer onto the A1, and we'll get that print started. By the way, we're gonna be using a little bit of black, and I'm gonna be using CC3D black PLA for that part. All right, guys, so we're here in Bambu Studio, and as you can see, this is that A1/A1 mini model that we're going to be doing off in the left-hand corner over here. So let's go ahead and check it out. All I did was pretty much delete the remaining filaments in here because there was quite a few, and I changed these all to generic PLA. I only see the white, black, and green, even when those other filaments were there. We got the black on the bottom here, we got the green right there for the Bambu Lab symbol, and the rest is the white. In our case, we're going to be using the metallic PLA for the main body. The green is going to be the olive green, and then we got the black that we're going to be using CC3D with. And when you first bring it in, It's actually a Bambu Lab A1 Mini, so I switched it over to Bambu Lab A1. And I also switched these over to generic PLA because they were some other filament. I think it was like Bambu PLA Marble. And so that's pretty much all I did. I've been wanting to print these for a while because, as you know, the box that comes with the tools, originally with your printer, whenever you open it up, things go flying everywhere. So I've been really looking forward to printing these out. And so I'm going to slice this up, get it onto the SD card for the A1, and I'll see you out in the real world. We'll get that filament loaded and get these things printed out. See you there. All right, guys, so we got that toolkit printed out along with those 2 test prints we're going to be testing the strength on, and it is looking good. Here's one of the prints, and as you can tell, that is looking really nice. Good quality prints, and this printed out just like this, and it already functions straight off the build plate. It says Bambu Lab. It should say 1 there, but it just says A Toolbox. It's a toolbox, A Toolbox, but it should say A1, and there's a little bit of a tree support there that comes off nice and easy. There's a couple of little stragglers there. Just going to use these tweezers to take those stragglers out of there. And came with the 3D printed spring here. Very easy to take apart. And the button that locks the case here when it's closed. So I haven't really checked how exactly to put this thing together, but I'm assuming it's just as simple as that. And then perhaps putting this in first. All right, guys, so I had to file the top and the bottom down as well as the side here just a little bit with my filer, because it wasn't going in and out of this hole smoothly. It was kind of getting stuck. But now, I think once we get the spring and place it in after we put the button, just like that, it should perform as we need it to. Yep, that is perfect. So when we close it, it stays closed. Then you press that Bambu Lab button, and it opens right up. Very nice. And this is the second layer here. Oh, that feels so good. It's a really nice toolbox, and that color from the UJOYBIO mixed with that olive green, it's so nice. As you can tell, that metallic look really gives it a nice look, and I like how it's textured up top and at the bottom because it was printed like that. So here's the A1 toolkit in that box, but every time I pull it out, things go flying, but this time it didn't. That's nice. But I'm gonna go ahead and find all the places for where everything goes. All right, guys, the first things I want to start with are these Allen keys. You get one Allen key going in there, the second one over here. Then we grab the grease, just pop it in there. Then we have this little rubber wiper we could just place over here. And there's the nozzle cleaner, the little needle in there. We could just place right there. And I think we can just kind of make our way, putting the rest of the stuff wherever we really want. There's plenty of free and open spaces. There's all these extra screws that I don't think we really need. So I'm just gonna leave it in the box here because this is the stuff that usually goes flying everywhere. And in this area, if you got some of the grease or lubricant in bags, you can put it in there. And I do have some extra nozzles here. So I got my extra 0.4 nozzle that I'm just gonna stick right here. Fits perfectly. I got a 0.6 as well, and I'm just gonna pop right there. I don't think I've ever used the 0.6, and that fit really nice. I wonder if I could just fit my 0.2 in there, and that fits perfectly. And you know what? I do have some extra silicone sleeves. I wonder if I could just place it in here just like that. And there you have it. That is actually looking really nice. Super organized, and I can just grab it whenever I want, close it up, and I'm gonna keep this in the drawer so I don't have to go into the office every time to grab a box. And I got everything I need right here. Super helpful, really happy with that. And I do see like 4 screw holes here. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's for, but maybe it's for some screws that come with it or whatnot. I'm not quite sure. But overall, this is looking really sweet. I really like how this was modeled. All right. With that said, we have our little test pieces here. I'm gonna get that set up and we'll get that tested out. All right, guys, we got the metallic PLA set up on the grip, and each one of these notches is 2.5 millimeters. So the hole is 2.5, then the protrusion is 2.5, hole 2.5, and so on. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. Here we go. All right, that thing went flying. I'm gonna get the Rapid PLA in olive green set up, and we'll see how far that goes. All right, guys, so we got the PLA in olive green set up. Let's give it a try. Wow. So I gotta check that out in slow motion and I'll put up the results there. All right, folks, so I'd just like to thank UJOYBIO for sending over this awesome PLA filament, metallic PLA in titanium gray and hyper PLA in olive green. I'm very happy with the print results for both the toolkit holder for the A1s as well as the strength test. Well, that about wraps it up here in the tiny 3D print farm of 5 Bambu Lab A1 3D printers. 3D Theory here. Until next time, peace, love, and joy.